Let's do it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Today you got me and Afefe, and it's Saturday night, so you know it's going to get wild in here. How are you doing, Afefe?
I am doing wonderful. Anytime I have a chance to join you and the posse, I'm going to call them the posse since it's a Saturday night. It's always a great time. Always a great time. Glad to be here.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. So I want to say before we get started, we're talking politics tonight. You guys know, load us up with your questions. But I do want to say, if you're not familiar with Afefe, she has Touched by Tarot, and that is her YouTube handle. She does political readings and she does spiritual readings and she does everything. But I want to say this because this is so important. The thing that I always throw these people under the bus, right? They never know I'm going to do these things. The thing about Afefe, she was just doing it just now, helping me before we went live. The thing about Afefe is she's the first person, and God knows I've gotten tarot readings my whole life, literally. She's the first person who helped me understand how to take something like a tower card, right? Or the Three of Hearts, and really see it for what it is and really use it in a very productive way. And you guys, I'm telling you, I took what she taught me about that and I've used it in my whole life, because life throws tower moments at us, right? And learning to not be afraid of those moments, but to go, oh, let me step back and look at this. Let me get my bearings. Let me see what the real message is. Maybe it's a little different than it looks on the surface. So I owe you that, Afefe. And tomorrow is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everybody, including Afefe, who has a grandbaby daughter who's amazing. And she has a special on her readings. So 20% off. Don't walk, run to her site and get a reading. That's my advice to you. It is a very short sale. So go to her site, which is www.trulytouchedbytarot.com. It's in the description of this video. Now, I do want to say this. Tower is not going, you can't save Donald Trump, Afefe. There's nothing that you can tell him because he wouldn't listen.
No. When we pulled the tower for 45, I'm not even looking for the upside. All right. If you or me or one of us pulls the tower, then that's when we go in that other direction. But with him, I'm like, oh yeah, blow it up. It's fine. It's okay. Yeah, no grace here for him. No. And thank you for that. I really appreciate that, Susan, because that is my approach to tarot is the guides use those cards not to frighten us, not to, yes, if there's serious stuff going on, we deal with it. But very often it is, there's always an upside, and they're always trying to get us from one place to the next in the best way possible. So,
right.
Yeah. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. You have.
Oh, you're so welcome.
You've done amazing things for me as well, and always grateful.
Same here. I'm telling you, when the first time she pulled a tower, we were going to go do something, and I said, "Oh, no, I'm not doing that. That's a tower." She was like, "No, we got this." I'm like, "No, Afefe." And we did. We did it. We got it. We did it. So it's really nice to have that kind of knowledge, that kind of wisdom, really. So I really appreciate it. No CC on lives, right? Closed caption, I think is what you're saying. I don't guess so. I don't really think I have that option, but sometimes your computer has the option. Like I know for me on my iPhone, it has closed caption regardless. So I don't know about Android, but sorry guys. I wish it did.
I don't know.
Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Let's talk some politics. I know that some of you guys have already been in the chat, kind of hanging out with each other. You guys are like tailgating. That's what you're doing. Your YouTube political chat tailgating at the Susan Lynn Afefe show. I love it. I hope you had some good chicken wings, barbecue, chips, whatever it is you were eating and drinking on your tailgate. I hope it was good.
That's it. And have some more.
And keep eating. Yeah, keep eating. What the heck? It's Saturday night.
Party.
So I'll start with this while you guys are all getting warmed up in the chat, but we are taking your questions. And Afefe, if you have any questions or anything that's been popping in your mind that you want to talk about, please jump in and say, I want to talk about this. The question on the screen is from Bonnie McCord. Thank you. And she wants to know, will Barron, Trump's son, try to run for president in the future? She did pick up some kind of vibes from him, and they weren't good. So just in a very short period of time, Barron was, it was announced that he was going to be a delegate for the Republican Party. And then it was announced he's not going to be a delegate. So I guess Mama Bear, Melania, said no, because it is true, right? He has not been very public. She's done a pretty good job of shielding him. I mean, I would have to say that she must have some maternal instinct in there somewhere, because it seems like she does a pretty good job of keeping him out of the fray. So we know this was Daddy Trump's idea, right? But, a lot of people seem to be asking that question. So what do you think, Afefe? Do you think Barron is going to eventually, when he gets out of the grasp of his mom, go into politics?
I don't think he wants to. And I also, I was getting a sense from the guides, and then I also saw some little hints of this online. When Melania pulled the plug, there's some things out there that, he may even be on the autism spectrum, and there may be some developmental issues. There are some questions around this private school. I can't remember the name of it, but this private school that he's been going to. So, and because we have not heard very much from him or seen him, or we don't know, so I just get a sense that there's something more going on with him. And I also think that's why Melania may have jumped in there and said, we're not going to put him in that position. Before you know it, somebody's going to shove a mic in his face or a phone, and have him on tape, and there it goes. So I don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
I don't see it either. Yeah, I don't see it either. He is 18. I'm not going to bash him. I don't really want to get into his life, honestly. But you asked the question. We don't see it. What I always saw, and I never even asked the question, it's just when I go into Melania's energy, he appears. So I've always seen them in Europe or some other place, not in the United States. This is like a freewheeling, this is too chummy for her. Like, she just doesn't have the space that she wants to have, you see that as well, Afefe?
I absolutely do. And I think that she understands even the extent to which I got the sense, Susan and everyone here, see what you think about it. But I got the sense that some of this getting him to the convention was done behind Melania's back. Like, yes. She was on catch up, right. And that's when she did it. Because the statement that he wasn't going to appear came from her office. It came from her office. So I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes. I even heard that it was Lara Trump, so
well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. He was the one who tried to put that ball into motion.
Look, I wouldn't mess with Melania. I promise you right now, she would take all those people down one by one with one hand tied and with a broken fingernail and a heel broken on her shoe.
Okay. And limping if she has, but she's gonna hold her head high and keep it pushing. Yeah, but no, I agree to your point. I see them in Europe as well. I think it's once all of this goes down with Trump, she's out of here.
She's out of here. That's right.
Bye-bye.
That's right. So you guys don't have to worry. You really don't have to worry about his family much at all, I don't think, because I've also seen the older boys going to, I've said this a lot of times, to one of the Stan, not Afghanistan, but Turkmenistan, one of those Stan countries where there could be some new investment development, and it would be a Wild West, and it would be a place where with $100,000 you could build a tower. You know what I mean? It's your money would go a long way. So I kind of see them going to a different country and sort of trying to restart their lives at some point.
Yeah, I think so too. And at that point, $100,000 might be a lot of money for them.
There's a reason I said it. There's no reason I said it.
They may have to dig deep for that $100,000 at that point.
Here's another question. I hate to even drag you in the mud like I drug Sybil in the mud last couple of days ago. God bless y'all. But somebody did ask, what is in, and I don't even know what you've ever read about this, but is there something, and if so, what, in Ivana's coffin? Now, I don't care if you disagree with me. I really don't care if anybody disagrees with me because I'm really one of the few psychics. I think Cash Peters said so too, but I think I'm one of the few psychics who see something in there. And the guides tell me papers are heavy. Like if you've ever had to pick up one of those banker boxes of papers, I mean, they got some weight to them, right? So I really feel like there is something in that coffin, in that grave. So yes, whoever asked that question, the answer is yes, that's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What do you get?
I think it's certainly possible. And let me just ask, is there something in that coffin? Yeah. You'll love it. This is Biden, of course, but I pulled Temperance.
I love that deck.
This is a new one too. You're gonna
a new one.
I know it's damaging, and I feel like it's photographic.
Okay, I like that. That's good. Photographs can be heavy too. I was a photographer.
Yeah, it's something really, really damaging.
It would be like them to print the photos out and not put a USB drive in there. It's like 500 8x10 glossies.
Was it? Like, geez, we didn't know she was so heavy.
What's what happened?
We must have
put all those pallbearers. I was like, what are they carrying? They're not carrying ashes.
And do you remember what year it was that she passed?
Last year? Was it last year, y'all? I think it was last year. I don't know. The years, especially in Trump world, are just like flying by for me.
Because I don't want to be too graphic, but I will tell you the very first thing that pinged me.
Yeah.
I think it might be the PP tape.
Oh, it might be.
It
might be.
If it was, that recent, it might be. It might be whatever happened in for entertainment purposes only.
Hey, Cecile, what is it? A VHS lined in gold? I mean, how is this so heavy? It's a PP tape. It should be on a USB drive. You could email it. I mean, maybe it's the computer. It's an old IBM laptop.
That's it. The first
2007. Weighs 50 pounds. They just put the whole thing in there. Yeah. And paper is heavy. Seashell knows. She knows exactly how heavy it is. Yeah. And go bricks. I mean, really, the thing is, the guides told me specifically, and seriously, specifically, that these people, meaning the Trump clan, they like to bury things. Back in the 1900s, right? People would bury things in a coffee can in the backyard or whatever, even my dad would do that, right? Like, that was what we all thought he was doing anyway. But yeah, so I think this is pretty right on the money. Now the next compact portable PC, that's awesome hypnicity. So the next question is, Afefe, do you think that grave will ever, and I'm going to leave the timeline open, do you think that her grave will ever be exhumed?
If so, not by him. I don't think he'll be, not by him. Maybe by one of the sons, if there was wealth there. But you know what? Okay. You know what? Because
about to get juicy, y'all.
Because when all of this goes down, and we already heard, now he's on the hook apparently for almost another $100 million from the IRS, right? Okay. Ding. So I think there's going to be, because you got to come up with a reason, right? There's got to be, you just don't go, you don't go exhume. I think those sons are going to come up with some sort of link that's there that gives them a right to go get it. And it's going to be them. It's going to be Don and Eric. Yeah. Because Ivanka could care less. She's, she's
Mm-mm.
off doing what they do.
And she's scared. Ivanka's scared of her mom's ghost. She's scared of graveyards. That's what I get. Like, she's scared of all that.
Yeah, she doesn't want to get dirty.
She didn't want to. Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah. But I can see Don Jr. and Eric like out there. Spirit's giving me this like in the middle of the night, in between the trees, with one of those head things on, with the flashlight on their head, with some shovels. Like, can you see it? I can see it.
I could see it. I have seen it. I've seen them out there trying to find wherever they buried the other stuff and arguing. Do you see the FBI or some other
I like that
agency? Because I don't know if it's the FBI, but it's another like NSA, one of those 3-letter acronyms.
Yeah, because we got judgment here. You know what? That's it. And when they get tipped off, because like you got to have a reason to exhume.
Yes, you really do. It's
have a really valid, you got to go through those channels. But when they get into it, that's when Don and Eric are going to scramble.
That's when they're going to be out under the full moon with their headlamps on, trying to get it before the FBI does. I tell you, the other thing I saw, and I know this is way out there, not any more way out there than Walt Nauta being VP. We got to talk about that too. But, NASA has these amazing satellites that can watch, and you can tell if ground has been disturbed. I mean, you really can tell, especially because right now there's weeds growing up over her grave. God bless that woman. So, if they do disturb it, I mean, I really feel like they're watching that grave. I really feel like it. There's something there.
And it's
then they jump by the FBI. That's hilarious. Warrior spirit. They're out there, digging. Stop, put your hands up. The FBI. I would pay money for that video. Pay money. God.
Oh,
dang, that's so good. Okay, well, again, that's interesting. I'm glad that you got that. So, probably the CIA. I couldn't figure out. It's not the FBI. It's probably the CIA, but I don't know. It depends on what they think is in there, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So I got this hit about Walt Nauta becoming the VP. Now I have to tell you guys, he's from Guam, but I also have to tell you that there's, according to Google, and I looked for a couple of different sources, he really could become president, according to multiple sources. I will tell you guys that this is right up Trump's alley to do something that's so out of left field that would cause so much hassle and headache and conversation. And Walt Nauta is just a sycophant, he's just a whatever. But when I was answering your 5,000 comments about he can't be vice president because he's not a citizen, the spirit guides brought this in. I want to ask Afefe about this too. Are you going to pull on Nauta? Pull on Nauta first.
I'm pulling on Nauta first because the one thing, isn't he a resident though of the state of Florida?
Yes, and it's true. He cannot be.
Right, you can't have two candidates.
But he could move.
He could move. He 100% could move.
Trump could give him one of those apartments in Trump Tower, or kick one of the boys out. Give him
apartment. Really. Well, that's if Tish James hasn't gotten it by then.
That's true. Good point. That's true.
I think there's a little. He wants a woman. He still prefers a woman. We know Christine. Her name blew it. She just blew it.
I mean, she blew everything.
It's done. She blew everything. But I think he still wants a woman. I'm pulling a Queen of Wands when I look at.
Wow. Okay. Who did he trust? He doesn't trust women.
Trust women.
And Ivanka is not going to do it.
He's run out of options with women
that are that sycophant-y. Carrie Lake.
Yeah, but they kind of
did hit butt heads too.
What was the latest with Stefanik? Is she out of there? Because I know there was.
We should pull and see. We should ask Spirit.
I
just heard he likes her.
Is Elise Stefanik still in the running with Trump?
He likes her.
of Cups. He likes her, and
He
he might
likes her. Yeah.
he might like her, like
Of course he likes her, He likes every woman that's got a heartbeat.
Yeah, I got the Two of Cups. So there may, because he is really stuck on a woman. That said, I am getting a sense of something being in play for Nauta, because he wants to reward him temperance again. So it's like we may have opposite ideas, or other people may have opposite ideas about why this might or might not work. But he does, you know how he is. If I want to keep you, if you've really been that loyal to me, then I want to keep you right here.
Yes, that's
And
right. That's
he
right.
wants to do something with Nauta to keep him ever so close.
It's true. It's true.
But will he rise through the ranks to actually run for president or be? He's got ambitions. Two of Pentacles and two. Oh my God! Please tell me this is not the vice presidential nominee. Oh God, come on! I'm gonna need something stronger than water. I poured water. I might need to duck out and get some wine.
You might need some holy water.
Knight of Wands. You know what?
Christine says he'll make him attorney general.
Yes,
He's
right.
got a law degree,
Yeah. He's being a little stubborn. Trump is being a little stubborn right now because that's not what he wanted, but he's working Nauta in there some kind of way, and Nauta is ambitious. Two of Wands. He wants it. And he feels like he's earned it,
Well, I mean,
he's
certainly been a doormat and loyal. Rebecca Davis says that it might be a fallacy, that there isn't any law that restricts that. See, this is what Trump does. And not only Trump, you guys, this is going to be the playbook that we are going to be dealing with after Trump is gone, which is they're make me, right? Like, make me follow your law or your rule or your tradition or custom. So there is that.
I see Allison Stone Spirit.
Hey, Allison, good to see you. So I do want to say, and I'll ask you too, Afefe, that we're not saying that Trump is going to need a VP. He's not going to be president. I'm not even sure he's going to be viable in whatever way that is when it's time to pick a VP. It's just when I go into his energy, he's thinking about that. He is a constant planner. He's constantly strategizing. I'm going to do this. If this doesn't work, I'm going to do this. And like Afefe pointed out, which is a really good point, he likes to keep people like under his arm. He wants you close because that keep your friends closer and your enemies closer, closer, closer. That's exactly how he operates. So I don't see him winning or doing anything. Afefe, what have you gotten with Trump in his upcoming couple of months?
I've been sort of a lone wolf on this one. Susan, I totally respect your vibe, and the guides and many psychics that I respect have said this guy's he's gonna kick it. I keep getting like he's gonna last a little longer than everybody.
Really? Okay. Till when?
I just think, I don't know if it's just out of pure spite. I don't know if it's going into zombie mode. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I do feel like he's gonna not last long, but through the election. And certainly I see him at the convention. But I also see him becoming increasingly like, it feels like his body, we know his body is in horrible shape, but I do see him mentally just declining further and further and further. But I just don't see him kicking the bucket. He's just too
mean to die.
He's just too mean to die. He's almost too mean to die. But I think he will deteriorate once the election is over and Biden is back in. We're calling it in. And so shall it be. I think that's when we're really going to see him slip. But even then, he's already putting out the calls for a redo of Jan 6, right? Yeah. Already putting out the calls of this is going to be fixed. We can't trust it. Be ready. So, yeah. But I don't see him. I mean, I just pulled about 6 cards here. I didn't get death. I didn't get anything that said like he's out of here.
Okay. So the other thing that I've seen is that he's incapacitated. Like he's had a stroke, a heart attack. The three things I've seen is death or stroke, heart attack, clearly not capable of running, of like holding office. And the third thing is his mental acuity. Like they talk about, a sudden, like they call it dropping off a cliff. Like, you have this decline of your mental awareness, clarity, and then all of a sudden it's like they call it dropping off a cliff. So those are the three things I've seen. One is death, one is like out of commission for health, and the other one is out of commission for mind. You got any cards like that?
I got out of commission for mind, even though
Okay,
it's
great.
George there, but my aces, because as you were speaking, I was like, is that the case? Is it mental? And there we have the Ace of Swords.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a snap.
It's going to be a snap.
It's going to be a snap.
Okay.
And then maybe that triggers something in the body, because we know as the brain goes, the body goes. So that could very well be it. Stroke, can't speak.
Could affect his voice. Now that
voice.
Spirit is spirit. If karma does that to him, that is some real payback. I mean, to live and not be able to speak, he would literally be happier, off the planet, right?
Yes.
So that would be some real something.
Yes.
Yeah. He's already been having this aphasia.
Look who's going to toast to it. The King of Cups, Mr. Scorpio man himself. Right? Don't you love that? He's going to be like, okay, finally we can start to move into some other territory.
Thank God.
But I'm also getting Spirit is saying, yes, we've all talked about Biden's age. There are some legitimate concerns there, but I feel like this wind is going to put like more air under his wings. Like we're going to see him revitalized in a way that maybe none of us even expects.
Nice.
Yeah, I do. I think this is going to be such a win for him on so many levels. And I think it's going to sink into his spirit, into his health, into his well-being.
It's going to re-energize him.
Mm-hmm. That and a little Botox, maybe a little bit.
A little chemical peel or something. A little spa day.
Smooth it up. But yeah, I think this is going to be really like, we're going to see him really reinvigorated.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Kevin's Loving Vibration is here. He is very accurate. Jump in. We're reading on Trump. I don't know what your latest readings have been, Kevin, on Trump, but anything that you want to jump in with in the chat, we're happy to hear it. I'm happy to hear all of you guys in the chat. Somebody asked, how do we know who to trust among all the psychics? I mean, go with your heart. You know what I mean? You guys, at some point, you just have to go with what feels right to you. And that's it. That's just it.
Yeah. And also, if I could say this, because I know that we all, when we're in the business of predictions, when we're following the guidance, we also have to recognize that these energies, and I know Susan has talked about this in videos before, other psychics have, we have to respect the fact that even in predictive work, there is still that element of energies shifting. And because we as humans have free will, then even when the guides are giving us messages, sometimes because of the actions based on free will that humans take, it can sometimes delay things, sometimes speed them up, sometimes have them appear, just like Susan said, maybe Trump, it's not a literal death, maybe it's mental, maybe it's something else. So energies can shift in that way. So yeah, I just hope that we give psychics grace and understand that when these downloads are coming through, they are coming through from a different realm, a different frequency, and they meet the human part of that does what it does, and then things can shift accordingly. I hope that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. And I mean, really, this is back to the tarot, right? The death card, and even psychically, death doesn't always mean physical death. It could be death of your identity. It could be death of Trump's identity, of being powerful, of being the front runner of the Republican Party. There's 1,000 ways this energy could affect him and change his whole world like a death. Okay. So it's just not black and white, guys. We're not this is energy. It's not black and white. But we sure do the best we can.
Always. Always.
Yeah. And you know, and I think right. So what they're telling me is, you know, like with McConnell, with DeJoy, and with Trump, those three have bedeviled me, right? Like I've seen McConnell crossing over. Look at the man. He's doing, you know, in public, like having complete shutdowns of his mind, and he's still going to work. So if spirit is trying to nudge you and trying to say, hey man, it's time for you to retire, and you're not listening, then you're not listening, you know, and you have to wait until spirit finally says, no, we're not asking you, we're telling you, right? Okay. But there's a long time where they're just asking you because we have free will.
We have free will. Absolutely. Really well said. Totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. All right. What's going to happen to Judge Cannon? Let's read. Whoops, sorry. Let's read on Judge Cannon. Oh, we blew Afefe back in her chair.
Can we just open up a sinkhole somewhere and just, you know, can we just do that? Can we, you know, those in movies where they had, like in the cities where they have the especially New York manholes, like could she just be walking along one day, you know, and just disappear? I know this much. She is not respected at all in the judiciary at all.
Right.
She is her, for all intents and purposes, you know, she is a powerful judge in name only, or in position only, but within certain circles, and her ability to truly, you know, move on and use the leverage that she was given from Trump to really catapult her. She's done. She's done. Her rulings, I agree with you, Connie. Yeah, her rulings are egregious. And she should be disbarred. I mean, some of her, but you know, she's getting help. She's getting a lot of help.
I agree with you.
From people who are more experienced and more savvy than she is. And she's been, don't you feel that, Susan?
Yes, I have felt that, yes.
Mm-hmm. Somebody's coached her through this whole delay thing.
Here's the line. Don't go past this line. Just do this, but don't do this, right? Like really coached her on how to do this, because it's been a little masterful how she's played everything. And it's like you're moving the line. You know what I mean? Like every time you dance up to it, you move it a little bit. And that's what they're trying to do over a course of some time. Those are new precedents, you know?
And they've been successful, you know, which is then that's the long game. And I don't know if we're going to get into it, but I'm telling you guys, I'm a little sweat, you know, I'm working up a little sweat here over this hush money trial, because the way this is, we'll see what happens with Cohen in the coming week. But the defense is definitely plotting their course for the appeal. They are real
for mistrial or the appeal, or
an appeal in the event that the mistrial doesn't go through, because they've been trying for that mistrial.
Yeah.
You know, and so far, you know, Mershon has been like, not, you know, we're not doing that here. But I wonder, in any event, even in the event of a conviction, I just know they're setting it up for an appeal.
Well, let me ask you a question. And while I'm asking that question, can you also tell us what the name of the deck is? You said this is a new version of that deck?
This is a totally different deck.
Oh, it's a totally different deck.
It's a totally different deck. The other one is the United States of Tarot. This one is just it's 4 presidents throughout the deck. It's Bush, Trump, Biden, and Barack Obama.
And wow.
The cards, like the whole deck.
Do you know the name of it? No.
I will. You know what? When you post this,
put it in the description.
Put it in the. I'll make a comment because it's on Etsy. But it didn't come with a box. It just came in a
Okay. So it's on Etsy and it's the President's Tarot. You can probably find it on Etsy that way. Okay, great. Now let me go to my question. So the question is that you're worried about the hush money case. You're worried about Mershon's case, which is the case that's going on right now. You're worried that the defense really has done enough damage through maybe improper counsel, even, right? Like, my attorney is so bad that he let me say on national TV that I'm gagged and I can't testify in my own. I mean, that was a big deal. This attorney, who's very, very well known, very, very well known, allowed his client to say, I can't testify because I'm gagged, which is totally not true. And he did it on the media. And immediately the next day, Mershon said, no, this is not true. So Mershon is trying. So anyway, you're feeling like this could be appealed. Okay, here's my question. My question is that, number one, I'm going to just assume that he's guilty. When he's guilty, do you see him going to jail or prison? Do you see him being house arrest?
House arrest.
Okay. Number two, it's going to take, I don't know how long to appeal this, right? Like at least a year. I'm thinking maybe even 18 months. Do you see him alive in 18 months? I know you didn't see him. Okay. So why do we care?
Take through the election. And
we don't care. I mean, I don't care, right? Like, as long as he's guilty, and we can talk about that too. As long as he's guilty and he goes to house arrest and he has to wear an ankle monitor and he gets, I would assume they're going to let him out to campaign. He'll have a parole officer. He'll have to let his parole officer know where he's going, how long he's going to be there, and he's not going to be able to just hopscotch around the country. Do you see him? Do you see him being convicted in this case?
I got the heebie-jeebies.
I did a whole video on the heebie-jeebies. Okay.
I'd love to hear from you. I know Kevin's with us. Whoever else weigh in.
Sybil's here too. Hey, Sybil Harmony.
Hey, Sybil. So please, weigh in. This is a tribal, that we're having a party. This is a tribal thing. Here's my concern. We know what just happened with Harvey Weinstein, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So there was a lot, even though I was like, yes, Stormy, you go, girl, like, push back, right? But there has been a tremendous amount of criticism, including from Mershon in front of the jury, on the degree to which they went into so much depth around the sex scandal, right? So the degree of the testimony and whether or not that testimony was necessary in relation to the election, what he was actually doing, what he's charged with, I just wonder that if that in and of itself could be grounds for appeal and or grounds for someone, because we got 12 and it only takes one.
It only takes one. No, I'm with you.
To say,
you're saying it only takes one juror, because if you've ever been in a jury, they pound it into you that reasonable doubt. All you have to have is one little tiny doubt, and boom, you cannot convict this person. So it's not a high bar, okay? But I will say, go ahead. What is that? What is that?
I think there might be one juror, and it's going to be.
I know. I saw it. I saw that damn juror.
Did you see a woman? I think there are more men than women on this jury, but
there are. But yeah, the woman. So that's funny that you say that, because the attorneys say, this is a very sad statement, but the attorneys say that when you have a rape case, women are terrible. They don't even want women on the jury because they're terrible against the woman that got raped. I know this isn't a rape case. Don't be yelling at me. But the way the defense framed it, they went after her like she was a slut. So, that could be. That could be. I did get that one juror is a problem. I thought it was one of the men, but I did get that one of the jurors is a problem. But I will say that when I game it out to like the 11th hour, you know what I mean? Like the third day of deliberation or whatever it is, I feel like they They crack. They crack. I've been that juror. I've been the juror trying to hang a jury. I've done that.
Wow.
And they beat me up. I mean, they came after me. This woman was like, I've got a cruise to Disney and I'm not going to miss it for you. I'm not kidding. I was like,
You
you know, he was like, look, this is a video of a man in the middle of the night. It's dark, any dark hour, nothing. And this is a black guy. I cannot tell you this man did this.
Wow.
You can't even tell who this is. You can barely tell this is a man. Is it a woman? I don't even know. Oh, I was fighting, y'all. So anyway, I've been there. I know what it's like. So I would just say this, guys, because if I thought, and believe me, I'll say it like this, right? Like I'm in a partnership with my spirit guides. This is my soul path. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing on my soul path. Look at me. I'm doing events. I'm teaching. I'm on YouTube. Well, you better damn believe that if Trump wins, my soul path is over. I'm done. I quit this job. So I told them, I said, you want me to do this? Let's have a little deal.
That's it. That's
You
it.
better tell me if he's going to win so I can, and you better get me a passport, a visa, and my dog a suitcase.
That's it. I need a benefits package.
I need a benefit. You know what I mean? And look, they haven't told me to flee yet. And I know they would. I'm telling you, I know they would, because when you're on your soul path, that's the thing, right? Like everybody's happy. So I just feel, I know it's hilarious, but I need a better agent. So if anybody knows an agent for spirit guides, maybe Afefe could be my agent. So anyway, I even if all this does happen, because I agree with Afefe that this guy is so mean and angry, and it would take more than energy to really, but I do like that karma of him having some situation where he couldn't talk.
Yeah.
That would be.
Yeah. And on some level too, I'm wondering if, we were talking about the spirit guides and predictions and things. I wonder if, so many of us, because we know, our eyes can see, our ears can hear, we know that he's guilty. We know what he's done. We there it is. But I think that part of our disappointment around why these 4 cases, well, now we got this one, we're talking about how that might end, but then we got the other 3 that are curtains. And I felt that earlier in the year as well. I remember, I was kind of a lone wolf, like, we're not going to get to those other cases.
Yeah. With Fani Willis, you were right on the money with Fani Willis.
Not going to happen. Now the Georgia Appeals Court has said, oh, sure, we'll go take a look at her. Yeah. So who knows, whatever. But I just get a sense that part of what may be playing out here is we've been relying on the courts and the judicial system and for justice to play out in the way that we expect. But there may be another whole karmic level that would be 10 times worse. Yeah, the courts are going to play their part of it, and he's not going to escape that by any means, however long this has to play out. But Susan, I think you're right. I think it's going to hit him in the worst way possible.
And you have to also think about, why is all this happening, right? Like, to me, that's what helps me sleep at night when I think about the why part. And part of it is to expose the fact that our judicial system, there's different justices for different people. And that's getting very, very loud and clear to people like me that don't typically experience that kind of justice, right? So he the longer he stays in the limelight, exposing all of this, the more we're learning our lessons. So he's really doing his soul contract, his soul purpose, right? So why stop that if we're still learning? I hate to say it, but it would make sense that he has some sort of health issue, but still be alive, because that would keep the contract going. Because then, like somebody said in the comments, then you've got all his supporters saying the Democrats, did this, or you know what I mean? I mean, it continues the conversation. Yes. About this situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is going to, several years from now, I think this is going to have us all just on a different level of appreciation for democracy and for our freedoms and for who we are collectively as American citizens. I think it's just going to be this whole reawakening. We know we're in the age of Aquarius for our astrologers out there. So I really do. I think all of this is serving a larger purpose, Susan. That's a great point. That's a really great point.
It's just not, I don't think any of us see him being president and because Afefe lives in Florida. I mean, I think you would be freaking out if you saw him being president. It's just a matter of how we get there, right? And this is what I try to tell you guys. It's not black and white. There's lots of ways this can happen. Even black and white, the death card is not death. It can mean so many things, right? Just like we talked about the tower when we first started. So
absolutely.
What's going to happen with Cannon? But what's really going to happen with Cannon? What I've seen, and again, this is obviously not etched in stone. I agree with Afefe. I think she's getting help. I think that she is being guided and being, I don't know what else to say except for help and guided. Yes. And I think she has a golden parachute. I've always said this. If she goes too far and, listen, once we get the Dems and we get, Congress, we can impeach her. Federal judges can be impeached by Congress, number one. Number two, she could be impeached by the ethics committee. Federal judges have a real ethics committee, not like Supreme Court, which has no ethic. They police themselves. So all these things we learned only because of Trump. This is the only reason why we know these things is because Trump exposed it. So he's really doing a good job of helping us see how many holes there are, right, in our Constitution, our amendments, and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So I think she could get a golden parachute. I see her at a think tank. I see her making a lot of money, a lot more money than a federal judge.
Yes, I see her moving on as well. As you were talking, I pulled the Chariot for her. Chariot. Mm-hmm. And the world completion. So I think she's moving on, because she's compromised her future on the bench. She's totally compromised her future, and I think she's done so in a way that future cases that she might be assigned, not of this magnitude, but if she were on the bench, future cases would be subject to appeal, and at a certain point, that just trickles down. You're not effective, and you won't get the cases assigned to you. There's nowhere for her to go. She's going to find her way out. Golden parachute.
And she doesn't want to. She doesn't even want to do this. She's doing it because she's got a deal. Allegedly.
That's it. She wanted prestige. She wanted the prestige. Trump gave it to her, but she did not see this coming. She was not prepared for it. And she's out. But I don't think she's going to get, if the question is really ultimately when you're saying what will happen to Cannon, if she's going to get kicked off this case, I kind of go, back to what Susan was saying. I feel like by the time that case actually starts rolling, who knows where he will be and what will happen. So she may be unnecessary. Her role may be unnecessary.
And then this is, somebody did ask this question, but this is really the $1 million question. So let's say that, we see 45 doing whatever he does. He's ineffective. He's offline. The guides always call him offline. Offline, it means he could be crossed over. He could be, his mind could be gone. He could be having had a stroke and can't talk, whatever. He's offline. Okay. So he's out of the picture. We have Congress. Biden is reelected. We have Congress. Now, the $1 million question is, will the Democrats, I know they're going to have a majority. I don't think we're going to have a super majority. God, if we could only have a super majority, you guys work your butts off to get these people elected. If we had a super majority, we could really do whatever we needed to do, like just do whatever. So given the fact that we're probably just going to have a decent majority, do you see them going after people like Cannon, going after all of these people that have thrown justice into the trash can?
I could be wrong, but what I'm getting is that so far what Canon has done is not illegal. It's not what she's done. She's walked that fine line of what
Yeah.
is within her purview. So this delay is within her purview. Now, but I do think there's something, if it's been determined that her decisions were made essentially, well, no, judges get counsel all the time. They have teams all the time. So again, I don't, unless they find out that she's
Unless
done,
it's money.
unless it's money. If she took money, you think she took money?
You know, I don't want to cast aspersions, but I would just say that she is from Colombia, from Cali, Colombia. I don't want to cast aspersions, but maybe she's got a little, connection to some money. I don't know.
Her husband supposedly part of the mafia or mafia.
There's a connection there somewhere, according to people, and the people I've heard say it haven't been sued for libel, and they've been saying it for months. So I would think yes. Oh my God, what happened?
She took money. Okay, hold up.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. So the first thing I got, my first flag was this Two of Pentacles. So I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's her and you know who? That's her and Trump. And then I got this Ace of Swords. Some conversations have been had. Some things have been arranged. And then I got the Lovers. Decisions made, conversations made, and deals struck.
And who do you think knows about that? Who do you think might be investigating that?
Jack. Who, I have to say that name with a smile, because that Jack Smith, woo, all respect to his wife, but woo, if she slips up,
you and 1,000 other women on this podcast would be getting plane tickets.
Look, I'd be okay with the schedule. I could take Mondays. Somebody else could have another day and another day. I would share. It wouldn't even matter.
Dang, she's willing to share, y'all. That's so nice of you.
I don't know if anybody saw this. Speaking of Jack, real quick, because he's always so buttoned up and whatever. There was a picture of him leaving at the airport in Florida, leaving the court, and he had on like this little tank shirt and some cargo pants and some sneakers. You should see that man casual. Okay, I'm sorry. I digress.
How did you even see that picture? Man, they must be stalking him. He's never anywhere. Like, how does he even get to work? I mean, he must levitate there or something.
Yeah. Well, security out the door. Can you imagine? Yeah, a lot of security.
Yeah. All the women have just gone weak in the chat. Okay. Yeah. And some of the men. Okay. So that's
good point. I'm sorry. Someone's saying, because I do remember that. Good point. I didn't see your name.
What was it?
Saying read on the two assistants that left Canada.
Yeah, that's true.
A good point, Linda, because I remember I was like, oh.
See, y'all, I know more about this than I would, because somebody asked, and I'll answer this too, because I'm watching ECM, which is Resistance Live on YouTube, and she's a former New York federal prosecutor, and she does a show every day that's like only 35, 40 minutes, and she helps us understand all the legal stuff. And so, because she can't stand, she's a prosecutor, she can't stand that we're like, why doesn't they do this? Or because you can't, so she really helps me understand the law. So when this went down, when these two assistants, she said, let me tell you something. When you get an assistant like that, when you get one of those roles, you go out there and clean their cat litter boxes. You do it with a smile. You don't even care what you're doing. That makes your whole career. That makes your entire career having that kind of role.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't know anybody that's ever left for any reason their role. You just suck it up and do it. And two people left. That spoke volumes in the legal community. That was like huge waves. Is that what you also know too, Afefe? Yeah. So, and so going to your point about the money, like the guides just said about the cat litter, like, but you would quit if you thought that something was going on in this office was going to get you in front of Jack Smith with a tape recorder. You would say, no, I'll just take the ruined career. Thanks. You know what I mean? I'll go over here and be an attorney. Forget the big firms. Forget all the money I was gonna make because I don't want to go to jail.
Yes.
That makes sense now.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You said if I had a question, I could raise it. Because while we are on the subject of law clerks, what is this about Clarence Thomas? Clarence Thomas's so-called adopted daughter who lived with them, him and Jenny, for a year, is now ready to be installed as his law clerk in the next session. So they end the session in June, and she starts when they start back up, October or whatever. This, I should have wrote her name down, but anybody Google, somebody knows, this group knows, somebody already knows. But yes, this woman lived with them. Apparently Jenny took her under her wing, moved them in the house with them, took her around all their little DC circles, and said, this is our adopted daughter. And now this woman is his clerk. I read that in so many different, my brain goes in so many different directions with that.
None of them good. None of them good.
None of them good.
It's just like what you said about Trump, like keeping people under his arm. That's what they do. They're like, you're going to come over here and we're going to indoctrinate you. We're going to, and then you're going to be forever beholden to us. And then we're going to place you, because if she's going to clerk for Thomas,
clerked for him after living with him,
then she can go anywhere. I mean, that's you clerked for a Supreme Court justice. I mean, you're going to be a federal justice. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be appointed the next time we get, that it's so wrong. It's all so wrong. It's also crooked and unethical. And that's what I'm saying. Go back to, we win Congress. We've got to get rid of the filibuster or tighten it up something. And then we need to go after the Supreme Court. We've got to go after these courts because the American people cannot start not trusting our court system. We can't have that. It's too important to our democracy.
And that's already begun.
It's already begun.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, he's 75. Roberts is how old? 77.
Yeah. He's not a spring chicken.
He's not a spring chicken. So I think we will see some, maybe even within the next administration, next Biden administration, we might even see some movement. I also understand that Sotomayor has been under pressure to resign early because they're saying that it would give Biden the opportunity to appoint a younger, more liberal leaning justice. Before.
I don't trust the Senate. Do you trust the Senate? I mean, really, do we really feel like we got that in hand? I mean, we only have like how much of a hair, like a hair. I don't know about that. I just don't know about that.
Well, she basically said, screw you. Yeah, I'm not doing it. I know whose idea that was.
He said it exactly the same time. Yeah. Okay. Well, then good, because I know Sotomayor has some kind of health condition. I don't know if it's diabetes or something, but I feel like she's well. I don't feel like she's tired. When I go under energy, she's tired. And my God, who wouldn't be tired of dealing with them people? And being the highest court in the land and seeing them sandbag and attack your democracy, it's got to be incredibly hard. How on earth did RBG not reveal all of this darkness in SCOTUS? I don't think she had evidence. I don't think. I don't know. I just don't know. I've talked to her. I have talked to her, and she told me had I to do it again, I would have done it differently. But that's the original old boys school right there. I mean, you're not going to just start ratting out Supreme Court justices. I mean, I really feel like they were trying to fix it on the inside. You know, who is it? Kagan that goes hunting?
Yeah.
I'm like, sometimes I'm like, what is happening? Like, really, what is happening? So it's almost like they try to befriend them. Like she was, Ruth was friends with Justice, the Chief Justice.
Yeah.
You know? So I think they try to like befriend them and sort of talk to them and kind of, the way the attorneys do. They argue with each other. They spar, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
And they also, because Trump was in office during her last years.
Yeah.
She really began to decline. And so I think there may also been wasn't he? Am I wrong?
I think she passed when Biden was in office because that's what they were saying, is that we had an opportunity. But again, there's a Senate. You have the Senate. I just don't know. You can't trust Joe Manchin. You can't trust any of these people to really do what they should do. When you have that razor wire edge, it just takes a couple of those people to do something really just terrible,
Yeah.
I have my doubts about Scalia dying of natural causes personally, on that hunting trip. Okay. So, do you have anything? How do you think Michael Cohen's going to do with Trump? Do you think that Michael Cohen is going to be the thing that pops the blood vessel in Trump's mind, brain, or do you think Cohen is going to do worse for the prosecution than he is? He's going to help the defense?
Cohen has been chomping at the bit, and there's already been, he's now under a gag order, if I'm not mistaken. Marshawn had to come out and say, listen, watch it, buddy, because he's got that podcast that he's been doing it. And so he's just been letting it rip. And I wonder,
mockery of the courts.
That absolutely, the jury's not living in a secluded bungalow somewhere. So I think the prosecution is going to be really, like, they need to talk with him, bring it down a couple of notches, because he's going to walk a razor line between, does he have the facts and the paperwork and all of that? Sure. But there's a personality part of it as well, that he might really turn off some of the jurors if he, gets up there like, haha.
Because he's very combative. He's very combative, and he's not a very trustworthy witness. So you were right, Afefe. She crossed with Trump, but I guess what the Democrats were saying was she should have stepped down during Obama's time, that would have given us the opportunity to replace her. Yes. So I guess that's what I'm thinking of, is because I know the Democrats kept saying she should have stepped down when she could have, and she couldn't have stepped down once Trump was in office. I mean, that was that deal was over. So I agree with Michael Cohen. And what's weird is I don't always watch. I don't watch that show that Michael Cohen does with Ben Meiselas. I like Ben Meiselas of Midas Touch, but I don't watch it. It's the political beatdown. It's just not my thing. But I did see that the one time when Michael Cohen said, I have to tell y'all, not going to be talking about anything. I'm really serious. I'm not going to be talking about anything. And then he, does it anyway. It's like, and that doesn't make him look trustworthy either. So,
and the thing that I've also heard a lot that people, and thank you for that, Kevin. Appreciate that, checking into it. Is the idea that, he might have an axe to grind because he was not invited to Washington. He was not, after everything that he did, Trump was like, okay, well, I'm out. Let me go over here with my posse, my new posse. And he couldn't believe it. He really thought, that he was going to get some sort of, maybe attorney general, maybe whatever, but he was his boy. And so I think there's going to be some of that, certainly from the defense. Don't be surprised at all when the defense kind of hones in on that. Like, what is your axe to grind with him? And the last thing they want is sympathy. They don't want to, you know, mess around and get on the fine edge of having somebody sympathize with Trump. Cohen was wearing a t-shirt showing Trump behind bars.
Yeah. This is recent. I mean, in the last week, I think. I mean, it's like, you know, he can't help it.
You gotta reel that in. Because it's not about him. It's about justice being served. And
well, you think Midas would tell him that?
You think?
You think Ben would say, look, man, do us a favor here. You know, I don't know. People are
as much as I appreciate Midas Touch, though, they do the sensationalism a little bit. You know, they're into it.
Agree. You know, we just, I guess we need all the help we can get over here. Anything else, you guys? What are we doing? Oh, we're just over an hour. So we'd like maybe take one more question. I can't believe it's been an hour and 5 minutes. It feels like it's been, you know, just 20 minutes or something. Anything else? Oh, mods, please. Something going on. You guys, mods, just do what you got to do. Toss people. I don't care. You, my bouncers, go for it.
Can I ask another one while we're going through it? So, no, I came with questions. I read an interesting piece, I think it was in the Times, on AOC and how she has gone from, and her future. Because I want to, you know, shift it a little bit. Maybe we can start to end it on a little bit more of a high note. So we know Hakeem Jeffries has been shining. He has been like just shining, right? And I'm wondering how you feel, Kevin, you know, and others in the chat around, do you see any sort of collaboration or some sort of strengthening between AOC and Jeffries and some of the more traditional Pelosi-esque Dems and the real progressive wing? I'm just wondering, because she's matured a lot. You know, she's still a firebrand, but she's matured a lot. And I'm just wondering if we might see, I get the sense that there might be something for her.
Me too. It's almost like, you know, she hasn't sold out her values or principles, but she's understanding how to get them on, you know, on Biden's book to be done, right? Like you have to do it a certain way. The squad is still the squad. They're still doing their things. Obviously, they're a little bit happier with Biden now that the weapons have been paused. But yeah, I think I did see the same thing with AOC. She is so she's just grown into this role. And I kind of see her in almost like a Buddha judge position. You know, I see her in the cabinet. I kind of see her maybe in transportation or something. Health and Human Services is what I just heard. That would be great for her, right? So now the question is, does she want to get out of Congress? Because I don't think she does. Like I think if they do term limits, then yeah, she'll be happy to get out of Congress. But she loves fighting for the people. She loves having an impact for her constituents. It's what gets her up every morning. She loves her constituents. Yeah, maybe she'll run as president. That could happen.
Yeah, she would leave for higher office. Queen of Swords and Queen of Cups. Yeah, I think she'd leave for higher office, but she would be very strategic in working with her constituency as to who would replace her, you know, and who would be coming up behind her. But yeah, I think she may have some big dreams. Queen of Swords. I think she may be thinking long term.
She's going up. She's going up into that upper echelon, for sure.
And there's Biden.
The sun. Love that. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Part of that article, if we're thinking of the same one, talked about the fact that she's been more vocal with Biden, and there's been, you know, she's had some opportunities to really get to know him and work with him. So yeah, he might do something with her. What does Sybil say? She has a what? She has a bright future either way. Yeah, she makes history because she's the real deal. Absolutely, Sybil. Absolutely. When Putin,
you think, oh wait, I got too many good things to talk about. Jasmine Crockett is basically my favorite person right now. If you guys don't know her, you need to know her. She's out of Dallas. She's phenomenal. I love everything about her. I love how down to earth she is. She talks to her constituents. And then when she gets into Congress, she lets them boys have it. She lets those girls have it. She's just the most down to earth, quick-witted, sharp-minded, got it together. Just, I freaking love her. And she's young. I mean, she's like new, right? And then the other thing is, I think this is interesting. What Kevin was saying is he thinks Schumer's, that AOC will switch over to the Senate and take Schumer's seat.
Great.
I could see that happening.
I could see that. I could totally see that. It keeps her in the mix, keeps her doing what she does best.
I'm telling you, Kevin is good, y'all.
Symbol
Kevin, Afefe, got my people here.
We figured it out together. We figured it out together. Great point.
And I want to say this to your point about Biden, the son. Biden was the right man to help AOC blossom, because she could go into his office and be like, and he would say, okay, I can see him sitting on the edge of his his desk saying, let's talk. Tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get his back up. He's like, what? Let's talk. And that's all she wanted, is to be heard. She just wants to know that somebody hears what the problems are. And now we're partners. So I think Biden really is a big reason as to why she's blossomed so much.
I think so too. Absolutely. Yeah, I could see her in the Senate.
I can too. And that makes sense. And just track her right on over to the White House. I love Moskowitz. I've been loving Moskowitz. I've been loving Rask. I've been loving those guys. They're awesome. Jasmine's great. Look, you guys, I'm telling you, we just have to, you have to kind of trust that everything is going to be okay. If it wasn't going to be okay, I would tell you. Literally, I'm drinking out of my 1-800 Spirit Guides mug right now. You know, I tell y'all, whatever I get, if it's bad news, Afefe, she does the same thing. If it's not what you want to hear, but it's what we're getting, we have to be, and so does Kevin. We have to be truthful to ourselves, and we may be wrong, but we're just not going to tell you what you want to hear. Believe me, we know what you want to hear. So you're just going to have to trust that it's going to be okay, and Spirit is going to handle this in the way Spirit handles it, knowing full well that all of these parties have free will.
Yeah.
You can get that mug on my website. My website's in the description. Yeah. So, and don't forget, Afefe has a Mother's Day sale with her readings. How long is that sale going on?
This sale is, and it's only for the 1 hour reading, because I do offer a 30-minute and a 15-minute. So the sale is only on, the discount is only on the 1 hour reading, and it's good through, you can book between now and the end of June, even though it's a Mother's Day sale. The code, you can go on my website, but the code is at checkout, you just enter Mothers 2024, and that's how you get the 20% discount. And it's a nice little chunk off of my normal hour.
20% discount, you guys. I'm telling you, she's very good. Everything is going to be okay. So, and also check out her channel, Touched by Tarot, here on YouTube. Look, you guys, if you want a personal reading and you don't have time or the funds or whatever the thing is, and you're not partaking in her pick a card readings, you're missing out. Because I do those pick a cards. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 2. And then I go and I look at the time stamp for 2, and I'm like, oh my God, look what she, I'm like, damn, it's so accurate. So, and that's free, man. So help yourself to that as well. And check out all the readers. Sybil's great. And so is Kevin, Loving Vibrations. We have a great community. We're blessed. Can you imagine trying to get through this without this community? We'd all be in the nutty bin for sure. Everybody have a great Mother's Day.
Susan, do you want to mention the class next Saturday?
Yes, absolutely. Last thing, Afefe and I, we're going to do some classes. We got some other classes planned, so y'all got to have to stay tuned. But we have a class this Saturday coming up on Archangels. And it's really funny. It's Archangel magic, right? How to use Archangel magic in your life to help you, right? Like this is what we all need, is we all need help. And it just occurred to us that nobody really talks about archangels, yet they are so important. And they don't care if you're Christian, they don't care if you're religious. That's all not true. They are free agents, so they will help you. And we're going to spend a little time with you, helping you hook you up with some archangels. Okay. That's in that information is also in this description. It's only $39. It's this coming Saturday, the 18th. And it's like an hour and a half long, and it is recorded. So if you can't be there or you want to watch the recording, you can. You want to add anything to that?
I just want to add, strictly from an opportunity perspective, like I would take advantage of this if I were not, working with Susan on it, because if you think about it, you all, I know right now, I don't think Susan's taking readings, but when she was, if you booked with Susan and you booked with me, you'd be out of a nice chunk of change, right? You'd be out of some money, a few hundred dollars. $39, you all, for 90 minutes with both. Like it's just, and if you know us, just like we show up here, like we deliver, we're not just there to sit and chit chat the whole time. We're there to bring you something really going to be helpful. And I always say this about Susan. I've always said it since I met her, and you all can attest to it. One of the things I think we love about her collectively is, you are always about helping people. It is really about everything that I've known you to do, everything that you put into motion, first and foremost. And I'm saying privately, you all, this is not just her public persona. Even behind the scenes, her concern is always that what is done is helpful, that it makes sense, and that it's going to help people. And so we're coming for that. We're coming with that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we need some archangel energy, y'all.
Oh, we need some archangel energy.
We need some archangel energy.
We need some archangel energy.
Because this place is crazy down here.
Yeah, we need some archangel. We need it all. We need every tool.
We need it all. We need it all, right? And I know Sybil has some classes coming up. So check Sybil's website, because that woman is a hell of a teacher, okay? For real. And I'm sure that I know Kevin's planning some things. Look, you got like a whole spiritual college campus here with all of us, right? So hopefully you guys will take advantage. Yes, they are working overtime, Colleen. They really are. I think we should just call it. I mean, I know you guys keep asking about MTG. I'm not worried about her, guys. If she wins, she's arrested. I just see her like just being taken out. Right now, Trump doesn't even like her. Mike Johnson doesn't like her. The Freedom Caucus is getting more marginalized. What the guide said would happen. The Republicans that have any sense at all are starting to wake up and go, oh, if we continue doing this, we're going to end up in prison or jobless, because now Trump has taken all our money. So maybe we should get with these Democrats and try to save our seat, right? The writing has now gotten on the wall big enough that everybody can see it. This is the time. This is the time we've been talking about. Right now, between now and August is when all of this stuff starts happening. Even Mike Flynn has got a target letter. Okay. It's really happening. It really, truly is happening. And the first president ever to have a criminal trial in the United States of America is happening right now. Regardless of how it goes down, we have taken ex-president of the United States of America and made that man sit in a criminal trial with a jury of his own peers from that local constituency. That is how our democracy is supposed to run, and it is running. It is working, guys. It is working.
Tell it, Susan. Tell it.
The scales are never equal. They're always gonna. That's why attorneys argue with each other. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. Freaking drives me crazy, but it's true. Okay, so we just have to know it's going to be okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we like to have a little fun while we tell you it's going to be okay. So that's what we were doing tonight.
Yes. Always.
There's plenty of people out there that'll be serious and tell you everything is going to fall apart and go to hell in a handbasket. But you don't watch us because we're funny. You watch us because we have a pretty good track record of being correct. We're not 100% correct, but we have a pretty good track record of being correct. So does all these other readers in our community. Y'all are not stupid. You're not going to waste your time watching people that are wrong all the time. So you just have to know we're doing the best we can. We're trying to help you out. And you have to understand when this background changes and you can see some kind of crazy things out the window and my dog is wearing like a beret, that I have left the country. And you should too.
I'm like, look, you better send me your forwarding address.
I'm out here. I'm gonna let all y'all know. All my subscribers are gonna know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, okay, y'all need to go to these states. And then I'm gonna be over here across the Atlantic.
Across the Atlantic. Yeah. And
Thank
also
God I have some Canadian viewers that have offered to help me. What's that?
And I saw someone was here from Australia too earlier.
Hey, hey.
They're still here. But I just wanted to say, I say when I have a chance to visit with you, Susan, your folks are just some of the best ever. And there's been some crossover. I really appreciate those of you who have come to my channel, subscribed, because what I love is your intelligence, is your knowledge. Because I sit in this chair, it's still collaborative to a certain extent. I do what I do, Susan does what she does, Kevin, Sybil, the rest of us, we all do what we do. But your presence, your knowledge, your ability to have these exchanges in the comments, etc., it makes all the difference. It really does make all the difference. So thank you for the part that you play in all of this as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful Mother's Day. And if you're a father being a mother, I hope you have a good Mother's Day. And if you're just a mother or a father of pets or whatever, just have a good day. Just have a good day. We deserve it, you guys. We've been through. Thank you, Janice. That's so sweet of you to go subscribe to Touched by Tarot. We are in the thick of it. We just really can't see how affected we are by all this. So please take really good care of yourselves. Okay. And we'll be back. I'll be live next week. With Kevin, actually, I'll be live with him on the 22nd. I'll be live with Linda G. And tomorrow, I forgot to mention, I'm going to be live with Kim Carey, an intuitive view. It's not political, but we're going to be talking spiritual stuff. So, and Afefe is always on her channel, giving you guys good content. So check her out as well. Okay, everybody, take really good care. We'll see you real soon. Much love.